This is the Sales Bible Podcast, episode 534, Go with the Flow Selling.
Welcome to Sales Babble, the podcast that shares selling secrets for non-sellers. And now your host, Pat Helmers.
Not too often we're overly concerned about the competition or comparing ourselves to others. And this fear, it whips us up into a frenzy, and we fail to economize our energies to the detriment of our pipeline. I've been told, and you've been told time and time again to get organized, to follow the process, and to leverage the power of your CRM. But this advice falls on deaf ears. What if there was a better way? A way of selling that has a natural flow that avoids obstacles and reaches its destination the fastest way possible. Maybe a river would be a good metaphor. What can we learn from the nature of water and how it applies to selling? The Tao loves to envision our lives in the context of flowing water. We hear it over and over again, right? Go with the flow selling. That's the topic for today. But before we get to today's chapter, make sure and subscribe to the podcast. That way you never miss an episode. And so with no further ado, let's get to it. And now today's chapter. Master selling is like water. Water gives life to the marketplace and does not strive. It flows in places most people reject, yet the seller is content doing a job most fear. In prospecting, be close to the marketplace. In qualifying, search deep for the need. In dealing with prospects, be gentle and kind. In presenting, be true. In negotiating, be just. In business, be competent. In action, watch the timing. Where there is no arm twisting, there are no unhappy customers. And now today's story. On Monday, Pat replaced the sales manager to turn around the sales team. The entire organization was struggling. A quick survey of the team's key performance indicators illustrated the problem. Some days there were many outbound calls, others days none, along with haphazard follow-up emails and phone calls. Pat's predecessor was loosey-goosey when it came to process and discipline. This had to stop. Pat called the team to meeting and shared concerns about the lack of discipline. Chris spoke up. We have a philosophy that sales is an art and a feel. We all wing it, and that's working. But it's not, responded Pat. I'm afraid your team is being kept in the dark. Sales are way down and business is in serious trouble. If we don't turn this thing around in the next quarter, our jobs are in jeopardy. The team turned somber, understanding the reason for the removal of their old boss. Pat went on. There's a process for qualifying leads, appointment setting, pitching services, and closing new clients. It's easy when you have a process. It's like following the current of a rapid river. You'll get pulled along in the right direction. Now, I have to admit, you've not had the best leadership, but I pledge to do my best to make this happen here. I'm committed to your future. Your success is my success. And that was the first in many more daily coaching meetings that turned around the sales department. Lao Tzu wrote, "Supreme good is like water. It's good for all living things and flows without thinking about where it's going. When you're content with being yourself, neither comparing nor competing, everybody will respect you." There's a freedom in self-discipline. Like a rapid river, there are limits to where it can go, yet it knows the fastest path to the sea. Knowing when and where to exert energy conserves energy wasted on irrelevant activities. A solid selling process eliminates ambiguity, lack of confidence, missed schedules, and lost deals. Instead of fearing the competition, a solid process keeps you focused and undistracted. Focusing your energy ensures you do the best possible. What others do is of no matter. What matters is closing your sales pipeline. Now, to download a copy of this week's chapter of the Tao of Sales Babble, you can find it in the show notes at salesbabble.com. And while you're there, you can sign up for our brief weekly newsletter with links to the podcast sent conveniently to your inbox. Next, if you could do me a favor and share this episode with a friend who's also interested in growing their selling skills, I'd really appreciate it. And if you have any questions about sales, reach out. Find me on LinkedIn or click the Babble Me link on the website. Sales is one of my favorite topics. That's all I have for today. Until next Tuesday, take care and have a highly successful and a profitable selling day.
Thank you for listening to the Sales Babble podcast. Find us at www.salesbabble.com.
This is a production of Habanero Media.